Welcome back to part 2. I hope you enjoy this. Here we go. It's closer to the ground. You just think of it as closer to the ground, and when you give it gas, the arrow goes up closer to the voltage side, the 5 volts, and then goes back down. So it's a simple way of saying or doing is your voltage is changing as the vacuum increases and decreases. It's that simple. So, when you give it gas, the voltage will get closer to 5 volts. When it let off the gas, the voltage will go down. Turn on everything. So now you have all 3 of them. And if you wanted to separate it, you can separate it. Just remember, whatever trigger you want, you're going to hit your slope. And in here, you're going to change your milliseconds to whatever you want. Be afraid of using a scope. I mean, a lot of people think that maybe you're going to break something, or it's going to hurt something, or you're going to blow a computer up, or something in that area. You're not going to hurt a scope. It's very rarely. The only time you do it, maybe hurt it, is by shorting out the wire, which won't have to do with a scope. So now we want to go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and do, and this is, like I said, it's just the basics 1, 2, 3 of a scope, and the different ways you can change your patterns and make things solenoids are usually between 4 and 30 ohms. So you complete the circuit. I always unplug the computer and then go back from the computer to the transmission back out, so I can actually measure the circuit, which is going to check the wire the same time you're checking the resistance. So that's how you're going to tell if you got a bad resistance. So let's go to my favorite part, a low amp probe. I love this thing. So we're going to go ahead and turn the car off now. Now a lot of times you got to remember, the low amp probe is mostly used for parasitic draws or drain on the battery, or it just helps you that way. But as you start using it more, you're going to find more and more things that you use it with. You open up your bar. Here you want to change 4. Now you can use it on 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. You can use it wherever one you want. So you take where you have your voltage here, and then you just take it and put it on your low amp probe, depending on which one you're using. On your low amp probe, so you want to turn this to 20. To hit your 0 here, and then that way it's 0 on your scanner side. And then you also want to hit your 0 here, and then that way it's 0 on your scanner side. So now that we have it 0, we're going to open up the door, or we're going to make a draw on it. I'm going to turn on you could probably see that even, the taillights. Now you can see even the ding in here. So I'm going to trigger this here, so we're going to see everything that we got. I have it on 1 second. Say I want to put it on milliseconds. You can actually see the square wave come in here, which is the dinging of the door. So now I'm going to hit, and you can see it has a 4 amp draw here, and then you can see that there's a big draw. So if I hit the horn, you're going to actually see the pattern of the horn. There's your horn. So if I hit the stop, now if I wanted to see it further apart, you can see here where you hit your horn. Say if something all of a sudden comes on, and you're going to be able to see your voltage and then your horn. But if you wanted to see it into a different area, you can see the oscillation. Now a horn is nothing but a speaker, which is oscillation, which is your voltage changing. But on this, we're measuring amps. So if you think about it, you have a 4 amp on the taillights, and you can see exactly how many amps are being drawn through that horn. So if I have 4 amps and it went up to 13 amps, so you're looking at a 10 amp horn. So the horn is actually drawing 10 amps. So maybe a lot of times it keeps blowing the fuses. You know, if you keep blowing the fuses, you hit the horn, you can actually see how far the horn is. So you can see if it's the horn blowing the fuse or any kind of a draw that way. What you can do, and what I like to do, I wanted to test the window motor, see how far the window motor, or how many amps the window motor does, which you could have done that way. But if you hit your, let's switch this. If you hit your 0 button while it's on, okay, and you can see where my 0 is here. And I want to just change my milliseconds because it may go too fast. So I'm just going to put it on 1 second. And I'm just going to bring this plus above the voltage that it's at because I want it to capture the horn when I hit the horn. So now I'm going to hit the horn or any kind of pulse. And when you do that, it's going to hit to that X mark. And then we can hit our pause button, and then we can go back and then look at the horn. You can see the horn here. It's drawing almost 9-10 amps. And you can see the oscillation. So the oscillation is good and 10 amps is good. But say maybe it was drawing a 15 or 20 amp, then, you know, if you only had a 10 amp fuse, then, you know, that's the reason why it would blow the fuse. So you can actually see this. Even though I have a draw on the battery, you hit your 0 button and then you can still do this. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll turn the key on, hit the ignition, hit my 0, and it's usually like at 1 or 2 amps, and then I can go ahead and check my power window motors, blower motors, heater circuits, defrosters, anything electrical, so you're able to click on and off and then watch your amps. And that's the reason why I did with the lights on, so you guys can see. You can hit your 0 button and then make it actually do. But just remember to set your trigger point above the voltage, so when that draw hits or when that thing is, it's going to go right to the middle part. It's not going to be too fast. So this is pretty much how you use a scope. It's a simple way. It's the best way for anything, even for drivability. Once you start using it, you're really going to love it. I mean, I've always done diagnostics with a scope and voltage. And then this way I can go into the scanner and actually see what the voltage is on the scanner and then actually go in and check the voltage physically. This way I know that the part is either good or bad. And you know this, the computer can lie to you and say one thing, and then you go to the voltage and it shows something totally different. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoy this little lesson, this scope, and then as you get to know me, you're going to be able to look more into my other videos and then be more detailed. I'm more of a detailed person. I'm a point to try to figure out your problem. But you guys on the bottom, I'm not going to give you the answers, but this will be an easier way for you to try to figure out the problem more than go into a thing and letting somebody say, well, change this or change that. Well, I did this and I did that. Go and then do your due diligence to figure it out easier. And then that way it becomes easier when you go into the scanner side. It becomes really easy. So I hope you enjoy this. Thanks for watching my YouTube and this ATR guide presentation. I'm hoping that I get better with these videos, and hopefully you guys will get more and more involved into the electrical side of cars, because EV cars are coming right around. And if you don't know electrical, you're not going to be around in 10 years, because it's going to be 10 years is going to be mostly electrical cars. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye. I think that one can